we're going to do vegetable ferments. This is a clean 2-quart jar, and this is slices of poblano peppers, which I love. They're pretty mild. Some of them are hot, some of them are not. Most of them are not hot at all. And all I've done is make rings out of them, and I'm just putting them in my clean jar. And I have some water here. Shake those down a little bit. I have just plain filtered water, not tap water. You don't want to use anything in your ferments that has chlorine in it. You want to make sure that your water's filtered. And I can highly recommend something called a Berkey. We got a big Berkey, and it has really great filters, and it has fluoride filters. So we just love the Berkey. I'm gonna put some water in, and then I'm gonna put some salt. I'm using Himalayan salt. It doesn't actually matter. And I only used about 2 teaspoons. You want to have some salt in your ferment, but it actually doesn't matter what you're fermenting. This is actually good enough. Let me get a little more water. This is really all you need because lactobacilli are ubiquitous. They're in the air. They're just everywhere. And that's all you need to ferment. If I want to maybe speed it up a little bit, or I want to ensure the ferment, I can put in some whey, which that's what I'm going to do with these. And I should measure, I guess. I don't measure. I kind of know what 2 tablespoons are. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of whey in my ferment. You don't have to, though. If you don't have whey from kefir or from yogurt, if you've not made yogurt cheese or kefir cheese and you don't have extra whey, all you really need is your water and some salt. And then you put a lid on it and you let it sit for I'm going to say at least 3 days, 2 to 3 days. But what you should do is every day you should pop the lid on it because the lactobacilli are going to put off carbon dioxide. And so it's going to build up that gas in there. So you want to release that gas. But I also suggest that you taste your food because you may think that they're good in 2 days and I may think they're not good until 5 days. Everybody's different. One of the things I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that my vegetable stays under the water completely, I'm going to put some rocks. And sometimes if I'm using something like, especially like sauerkraut, I'll just put the rocks on the sauerkraut. But with this, because I don't know what it's going to take to, to keep them under the water, I'm going to put them in a plastic bag and put them in my jar. And that's going to cause my water level to rise up. And all of my vegetables are going to be underwater. And then I'm going to put my lid on it. And you just set it aside. What's going to happen with your ferment is it's going to depend on the ambient room temperature. The warmer your room, the faster it's going to ferment. The cooler your room, the slower it's going to ferment. This is completely dependent on your taste, how you like it. After 2 or 3 days, it's going to have a certain amount of sourness. But after 5 or 6 days, it's going to be even more different. What happens to fermented vegetables is, and I find this very interesting, they don't lose their fiber like when you cook a vegetable. It retains all of the benefits of a raw vegetable, which that's awesome. But what also happens in fermentation, the fermentation process itself, the lactobacilli increase across the board the B vitamin content. They make what is also available in your vegetable normally if you ate it raw. You wouldn't actually absorb all of the minerals and antioxidants in it because it's in a raw state and they're not all completely available to you. But the fermentation process takes the vegetable to a certain point where all of the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants are completely bioavailable to you. So it increases actually the whole food to make it even better. which I find absolutely fascinating. So we're going to come back in a minute. We're going to do another ferment, and I'll try to think of something else that maybe I left out of this one. You want to try not to use metal. I am going to put a metal lid on here, but as you see, the metal lid's not going to touch the vegetable in any way. My plastic bag is kind of still sticking up here. But you want to keep your vegetable under the water. And just leave it alone, and it's going to bubble. It's going to make bubbles. Let the gas off and taste it. Taste it, taste it, taste it. Because that's how you're going to know what you like. And next time you may want to put some spices in. That's up to you. Get really creative with your ferment.